Hello. Today, I want to talk about rotating a sphere. And it could be a bit tricky to do because drawing it, it's very difficult to, think about it. And I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to start with a very crude, uh, circle, like on the horizon. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm going to try again. Sorry. Okay, I'm just going to work with that. No, you know what? One more time. One more time. Sorry. I will get this. Okay, I'm going to go with that. So we have a sphere sitting on the horizon. And when we rotate it, and just for reference, I'm going to rotate it that way. So you can kind of think of like the ball starting here. And you know what I'll do? I'm going to, as we go, I'm going to show how it kind of like maps to the rotation here. So let's just assume that within our sphere, there's an ellipse. And when you're looking in the ellipse, from this way, it looks like a line, and I'll show you, okay? The reality is that line that we just drew within our sphere is actually in like an ellipse, a circle, an ellipse. But the way it's currently rotated is that it looks like, viewed from the side, it looks like a line based on our perspective. So if you think about a penny, or you could think about like a centpiece, or a penny, think about a penny, right? Well, when you rotate a penny and you're looking at it from like the side, well, what do we see? We see like it has some thickness to it, but you pretty much see a line. But sorry, this is really crude, but you would see like ridges on it. But I mean, you could very well just say that it's like a line, even though it's not really. But you could think of like of it still existing there in 3D space. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna undo some of what I just drew because I think it's a bit distracting. And I'm gonna do like another layer. And in short, as we do this rotation, I'm gonna draw our thing again. Okay, so we're starting with that ellipse that is viewed from like the side. And the reality is that it is an ellipse, but we just can't see the full face because that ellipse is facing away from us. So I'm going to add another layer. Sorry, I'm just trying to keep track of what is what. Okay, so we have this layer. I'm going to hide it for a second. And because we're rotating our ellipse, our sphere like that way, I'm going to show you how it maps out. As I'm drawing on another layer, it won't conflict. Like, how do I put it? If I clear that layer, it won't get rid of it. But I'll show you. Okay. As it goes, you could think of it as an ellipse that's going to widen. And we're rotating it to the right just to show you, like to the right. I'm just trying to visualize this a bit because it's going to be a bit weird. I'm going to use partial ellipses here. The reason I'm using partial ellipses is to show you, like, that ellipse that I just drew. It's the same thing as a full one, just not drawing the full circle that is actually contained within it. Sorry, it's a bit difficult. But it's still a circle. It's just another way to summarize an ellipse in 3D space by like showing here and here the curvature, because those little hooks are going over the curvature of our sphere. So we were at that point. And just a trick for you if you are using digital or if you're using tracing paper, you know, I'm accomplishing this by referencing the past drawing that I had. And I could very well hide it. Sorry. But the point of it is that I can kind of show it, like, I only have to focus on one thing at a time instead of having to do that. And here we are, another layer, and we're kind of rotating that ellipse. Because the thing is, we're actually rotating the sphere, but like the only way we can tell that this sphere is rotating is by this internal ellipse. Or if you did want to like map something onto the ball, you have to think of like the curvature, because it's like the whole curvature of the ball is rotating. Well, not the curvature, but the ball itself, the sphere is rotating, and our reference point to understand that rotation is the ellipse that we drew. And I'm kind of just like exaggerating a lot of this, but the important thing is that as we go, I'm going to do that one again. I'm going to look at the past one as a reference. I probably should exaggerate this a bit more, and I'm probably, you know, I think I just realized I made a mistake, because I believe that when I'm doing this curvature wrapping around, it needs to be like the ellipse is getting wider, or like, you know, the ellipse, you're seeing more of the ellipse, the degree of it is getting larger as we go, or as we rotate the sphere to the right. And please excuse my crappy skill with this. I'll get better in the future as we go. So we have that reference point. You know, if you're like, I'm not doing this for animation, I'm kind of just exaggerating it here, but in animation there's a thing called onion skimming. I'm not an animator in any way, but I do know there's a technique that kind of relies on looking at your past reference to, like, the previous image you drew, to draw the next one to work with it. And the animators work like crazy. Like they are a different skilled breed. You know, and as we can see this, and I'm just gonna draw this for our sake. Look, our ellipse, like the degree is getting larger, if you can see it. Let me think. Because it's kind of like, you know, we started here. We started there, and basically we're seeing more of our penny now. Okay, let's do the next one. And, you know, I think that even if you're not an animator, even if you're just someone that draws, I don't mean that in a belittling way, but if you're a person that draws and you want to show action in your drawings, I think that like studying frames of an action and kind of like progressing through it can even maybe help you find the right frame. Like you know, there is action to drawings, as difficult it could be the C. I'm really screwing this up. And just to say, I kind of messed up. I wanted to show like a little diagram here, kind of showing how we went, how we did the, redo. Where's my redo button when I need it? I think that worked. Okay, and you know, I'm going to show you, because like we started with a line here, and as we rotate, as we go around this rotation, the degree is getting, like, the ball is still the same. Though the degree is getting wider, it's not getting wider than the ball. So like we started with a line, then we kind of got like a very thin ellipse, then it kind of became thicker, and then it's like, you know, we're slowly, the degree is getting larger as we go. Oops. I don't need that yet. Okay, great. And sorry, I'm not getting the most perfect example, but I think it's like a bit good enough. Oops. Darn, I should have I should have done this on a new layer, but this is going to hide. You get the example though. And I'll draw it again for you. I'm really sorry about that, but I don't think it matters until the end, but I'll show you. Okay, so we're at layer 10. And yeah, we're like doing this, we're chugging along. I need that. Got that. And at this point, I'm going to jump a little bit, but not too much. Or no, not yet. Soon. I think, okay, so we're here, right? If you look at what we have so far, the ellipse is like almost taking up the full, it's almost like it's almost like the full frontal face. So I'll show you. I'm going to draw this again up here. So we started with a line, but it was an ellipse. And as we rotated the ball, we kind of got a wider degree ellipse. Eventually, as we go, the ellipse keeps getting larger and larger, but we're not seeing the full front of it. I should have put that up here. But basically, we are at the point, I'd say probably about here, in which we are going to see the full front face. Because like we were here, and the ellipse was taking up a majority of the sphere, but not all of it. But at this point, now, oops. Now at this point, now I just drew another ellipse. Let's just assume I got that perfectly to match up with the ellipse, but basically, the ellipse, like we're seeing the full front face of the ellipse. So because of that, it just looks like a circle. And like it's really difficult to tell because I mean if it would be perfect, it would take up the whole ellipse, the whole sphere, because that ellipse is like facing us now. It started here. It started here, and then it took up the entire I believe maybe is the word it took up the entirety of our sphere, that ellipse, because it's like facing us now. I'm going to merge all these layers to the right to kind of show you the process, or you know what, I don't even need to merge them, I could just do that. Let me put that back in place. So you can see that like it has a flow to it. It has like, it makes sense because obviously the ellipse that we're using to show the rotation of our sphere isn't going to get larger than our sphere isn't going to get smaller than our sphere. The reality of it is it's like a slice of a, it's like a slice of a, it's like a penny encapsulating our sphere, and it's like used to show the rotation. So I hope that explanation helps you, as I made some mistakes along the way. If you have any questions, please ask in the comments and I will try to answer. I may need to make a follow-up video because I know I'm not getting this perfect, but I'm trying my best. But thank you for listening.